Okay, so it is day 250. That is 250 days since the Russians invaded Ukraine. It is absolutely unbelievable. It's mind-boggling, but this is where we are. Okay, so if you don't know me, my name is Darren Gertis. I'm a professor and I have analyzed and followed the news in Ukraine since almost since the beginning. Since about day 85, I've been putting out these videos and it's now day 250. So today you're not going to see me, and that's again because my throat is really sore. I have this head cold and I sound a little bit better, but I'm really not all that together yet. So thank you for indulging me and bearing with me. So here's what we're going to see today. Okay, so the attacks on the energy infrastructure have been having an effect. According to the mayor of Kyiv, as a result of attacks on critical infrastructure, part of the capital has been de-energized. There is no water supply in some areas. That was in Interfax. In The Guardian, we see the same kind of thing. Russia targets Ukraine's hydroelectric dams with a wave of missile attacks. A wave of cruise missile attacks at hydroelectric dams across Ukraine and at least 10 other cities and regions. Now, Ukraine did shoot down 44 out of 50 enemy rockets that have come in. Unfortunately, 6 coming through still continues to do damage, and it's damage upon damage upon damage because over the last, well, since October 10th, we've just seen just a wave day over day of missile attacks since the Kerch Bridge. Herman Hashelenko, Ukraine's energy minister, said, well, after describing this as barbaric, he said electric substations, hydropower, and heat generation facilities were hit by rockets, and he asked all Ukrainians in areas that were not affected by shelling to reduce their electric consumption as much as possible to kind of even out, how the power is going out. Reducing the load on the power grid will help our energy companies to quickly restore the power supply in those regions that are temporarily blacked out. So it's having an effect. Pravda, I'm going to show you this in Pravda here instead of in Fun with Russian State Media, because this was actually the most honest Pravda article that I've seen in a long time. And they talk about this as well. Ukraine's 4 most powerful hydroelectric power stations became targets of the last strikes. About 80% of Kyiv's residents have been cut from water supplies. We already know that. Russia has been attacking Ukrainian infrastructure since October 10th. The strikes followed explosions of the Crimean Bridge. As much as 40% of Ukraine's energy infrastructure has been damaged so far. I've got to give this article a gold star for being honest without providing a lot of unnecessary propaganda value. So Pravda actually wrote a decent article. Okay, here's the BBC. Ukraine war. Power and water supply hit across Ukraine in massive Russian missile strikes. The capital city, 80% without water. So that puts it at about 350,000 apartments had no electricity. That's a miserable place to be. And going into the winter without water and without electricity is going to be difficult if they can't put this back together again. The strikes come after Russia blamed Ukraine for a drone attack on its Black Sea fleet in the annexed Crimea. So I think there's going to be an up-tempo again as Russia is, hitting back to just show that they can. But as they do, they're depleting their missiles in a very quick way. It's actually kind of smart in one sense for Ukraine to be doing this, to make them deplete their missiles faster, but at the same time, they're sustaining some damage. Now I'm going to show you some pictures before we're done. I'm going to show you some video of what it's like to endure the missile attack, so stay with me. Overall, 18 facilities, most of them energy generating, were hit in 10 regions of Ukraine, said Prime Minister Shmyhal, adding that hundreds of localities in 7 regions were left without power. Okay, now I told you I'd show you what this looks like. This is what, and this is not yesterday, but this is what it looks like when a power station is hit. So the firemen trying to put this out without getting electrocuted. I want to also show you this. This is what it looks like. Now, these were missile attacks, but there were also drone attacks. And this is what it looks like. This is the first confirmed video of a German air defense system, Gepard, taking down Iranian-made suicide drones. I'm not saying that this was yesterday. This was actually video from before that. But this is what it looks like. That's some scary stuff at night. You can't see already. So this is what the Ukrainians are faced with. This is their reality. And so when people tell me stuff like, well, shouldn't they just make peace? They don't really have it that bad. Oh, they're making it up. Or, oh, it's inflated or overblown. They're full of nonsense. Okay, let me show you this one. This one really makes me angry. This is a barista in a coffee shop. She's just going about her day. Imagine that was you. Imagine that was your daughter. I mean, how would you be experiencing this? That's just ridiculously insane. Middle of the day, major city, missile strikes coming in. I mean, it's just, wow. Okay. Let me keep moving. Near the front, Ukraine's drone pilots wage a modern war on a shoestring budget. Now, I'm telling you that drones are the wave of the future. My sons are in Civil Air Patrol. They're learning how to fly quadcopters right now, so they'll be able to fly either recreationally or commercially, fly drones. I'm telling you, drones are the wave of the future. And both sides are using drones to great effect. The next war is going to be not going to look anything like every war we think it's going to be just like the last war. We've seen so much innovation so far that the next war is not going to be even recognizable with the amount of drones and that kind of thing, because we're already using them to great effect. Drone operators in their role as roving intelligence collectors put them at the epicenter of the resistance against the Russian invasion, says the article. This is Radio Free Europe. Drones play a vital role in the war in Ukraine, with both sides using them in large numbers to gather intelligence, correct artillery fire, and drop bombs. Ukraine is training hundreds of drone operators every month. Ukrainian social media is awash with volunteers fundraising to buy drones because they're buying them off the shelf as it is. On a typical flight day, they'll fly their camera-equipped drone over Russian positions, bring it back to their line, return to their base, upload the flight's camera's data into their computer, look over all the pictures. After that, it's up to their command and artillery units to identify which targets to hit. Once a target is selected, the operators will make a flight to confirm that the target is still there. Double confirmation is necessary because they just don't have the artillery. They have to conserve their artillery, so they have to make sure that what they're hitting, they're hitting. Now, goes down a little bit further. For want of better supplies, the unit, like most drone units in Ukraine, relies heavily on commercial quadcopters. This is the kind of thing that my sons are learning how to fly right now. Better known in the United States for the applications for wedding photography, hobby videos, and the like. But this is the epicenter of where the war is. Now, that's different than the Shahed drones that Iran is sending, which are these kamikaze suicide kind of drones. But drones are drones, and this is going to be the wave of the future. Okay. Next, this is the British intelligence update. Just want to keep you up to speed with where we are. Russia has deployed several thousand newly mobilized reservists on the front line in Ukraine since mid-October. So they have been pouring these soldiers in. They're not really qualified yet. They're not really trained well, but they're there. In September, Russian officers were concerned that some recently mobilized reservists were arriving without weapons. Open sources images suggest that the rifles which have been issued to mobilized reservists are typically AKMs, a weapon first introduced in 1959. Many are barely in usable condition. The AKM fires 7.62 millimeter, while Russia's regular combat units are armed with 5.45 AK-74Ms or AK-12 rifles. Now, what this means is that they're going to have two supply lines for the type of bullets that they're firing, let alone other parts. And so this is not a really good place to be. It's going to further complicate Russia's already strained logistical systems. Okay, so they're poorly equipped. They're rushed to the front. They're not necessarily all together. They don't have the right kit. They don't have the right weapons. And that's just where we are. Okay, now let's have some fun with Russian state media. First article is this: explosions occur at Russian military airfield in Pskov region. I had to look up where the Pskov region is, so if you don't know what it is, that's okay. Several explosions occurred at a military airfield in Russia's Pskov region. 3 explosions in total. Maybe they were smoking, who knows. The damaged helicopters were kept at the Russian airfield for repairs. Okay, so where is Pskov? Well, Pskov is over here. It's in this red area over by Estonia and Latvia. So that was really interesting to me because it could just be some kind of accident, but it could be that they're being hit by somebody. If they're hit by somebody, who? Is it a false flag operation? Russia's been known to do that. If it's not a false flag operation, was it the Estonians or Latvians, or are the Ukrainians somehow way up there? It's a real mystery, but we'll find out more over time. I'm sure that we'll hear some blame from the Russian state media side. So next article in Pravda, Zelensky's never-ending complaints drive Biden mad. This is somewhat perennial. We saw this back in July. Same kind of thing. This is in Pravda. Now, I don't think it's driving Biden mad. I think Biden wants to support and is trying to make tough decisions about, like, I don't want to give too much and start World War III, and I get that. And Zelensky, at the same time, he has to do the same kind of thing where he has to say, look, I need enough weapons so I can take this fight. So there's kind of a tension there, but it's not a bad kind of tension. Zelensky's overt expression of discontent about the USA's insufficient assistance sparked friction between the two states. Oh, wouldn't Russia just love this? Isn't Pravda RU. Russia just loves this narrative. Okay? Kyiv authorities often turn to American lawmakers with a request to put pressure on the administration, President Joe Biden, to supply longer-range missiles. Yes, they do need these longer-range missiles. They need air support. They need, if nothing else, October has taught us that they need air defense artillery, right, which they didn't have. Remember, at the very beginning, they started asking, I need a no-fly zone. I need a no-fly zone. They never got it, and now you know what's going on. Zelensky would at times insist on assistance that Biden was unwilling to provide. All true. Biden was unwilling to provide the long-range missiles that could have hit the Kursk Bridge a long time ago. It was also reported that Joe Biden lost his temper during a phone conversation with the Ukrainian leader when the head of the White House announced that he had approved $1 billion in additional military aid to Kyiv. Zelensky started asking for more. So would I if I was Zelensky. I mean, Zelensky has to keep asking and asking and asking. But here's the funny thing. The incident took place on June 15th. So if it happened on June 15th, why are we just reporting it now? Well, because they said it in June. They probably said it in July. They probably said it in September, and they're saying it now because this is a perennial issue for them to show how the West is split. If the West remains unified, Russia cannot win this war. They just cannot. Short of a nuclear exchange, which, again, Russia wouldn't win, Russia can't win as long as the West stays unified. Zelensky could show a little more gratitude, the TV channel said. Okay, so again, I don't fault Zelensky for that, and I wouldn't even fault Biden if he was a little upset with Zelensky being pushy, given that the United States has already spent 17, 18 billion, something like that, on defense of Ukraine. So, okay, here's one more article. Russia Foreign Minister Lavrov confirms Putin is ready for talks on Ukraine. Well, of course he's ready for talks, because Putin would like nothing else more than to freeze it right in place where Putin gets to keep all the land that he already acquired, and then he can choose when he's going to start this up again. So the readiness of Russia, including its president, for negotiations on Ukraine remains unchanged. We are always ready to listen to what proposals our Western partners have to reduce tensions, said Sergei Lavrov. Dmitry Peskov said that the talks between the two presidents may take place only if the United States wanted to hear Russia. Oh yeah, it's the United States' fault. It's not Russia's fault for what they're doing in Ukraine. It's just they're just not listening to us. Okay, that is the way that they're presenting this to their people, and that's why you should be reading Russian news. And I'm one of the few people that's out there telling you that, where other people are saying, no, ban RT, ban Pravda. No, read it. Understand how they're thinking so that you can more intelligently and articulately pick apart their arguments when you hear them. Okay, thank you for your time for today, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.